There we go. Perfect. Hey, welcome to Coffee Connect, everyone. It is May 14th, right? Hopefully all the ladies in the room had a great Mother's Day weekend. I know we had a great celebration with my wife, and looking forward to this weekend as we're heading up to Put-in-Bay to continue her Mother's Day celebration as well as my brother's birthday, which should be exciting. Today we've got some great conversations. I think Shane's going to bring really a powerful message to you when it comes down to looking for referrals, right? And we were talking earlier, I said this was a great segue, I think, from last week's conversation with Shannon, where we were learning how to ditch our elevator pitch, right? Again, if you're not part of the email campaign and you're not getting the invites on a weekly basis, please email me at ccinfo at addictedtoconnecting.com and I'll get you on that invite list. I usually respond back saying done. So if I haven't done that to you and you're like waiting, please email me again or something, right? Because sometimes things do get lost in that mix. The other way that you can always access us, right, is www.addictedtoconnecting.com. You can always go back and look at all the old YouTube playbacks, including last week's one with Shan. If you weren't here last week, right, I would encourage you to go back and check that one out. It'll be a good playoff to today's conversation. And so only have known this gentleman for maybe 3 or 4 months. It hasn't been long at all, guys. I'm going to be honest, right? But executive director of rebootva.org, nonprofit that coaches hundreds of veterans and their spouses per month, right, on building businesses of their own. They do it through the Small Business Association Boots to Business program, located in the Austin and San Antonio region, right? So he's coached veterans and non-veteran businesses to network properly for over 10 years and have developed over 30 networking teams over that time, right? He funds his nonprofit through micro donations and through coaching veterans and non-veteran businesses outside of the nonprofit, right? And so here today to share with you part of that program that he has, right? Give it up for Mr. Shane Hicks.
Thanks, everybody. It's great to be here today. And so I want to make sure that everybody gets the most out of this as possible. So I'm going to pop up a slide and start telling a story. So hopefully, and please bear with me because I am technologically challenged.
Aren't we all?
All right. So does everybody see that slide?
Perfect.
Okay. So when I first started my business, one of my greatest mentors taught me early on in all things be intentional, right? Now, how many of you have gone to networking events or you know somebody that goes to networking events? You go into the networking event, you grab your food, you grab your beverage or whatever, and you don't know who to talk to. You try to randomly go, you try to meet everybody in the room. That's not intentional. That doesn't work. So what I developed in both the veteran and non-veteran businesses that I coach is an intentional networking system. And it basically is broken into 2 processes. The very first thing you need to do is you need to be able to identify your ideal customer. Now, when you go to networking groups, they give you 30 seconds, 45, some a minute, some more than that. But here's the deal. We live in a soundbite society. Nobody's listening to you past 15 seconds. In fact, some studies show that within the first 7 seconds, someone's decided whether they're doing business with you or not. So you've got to come up with what I call the 15-second mic drop. It is something where the dumbest rock in the room that has no clue what you do can see or hear on a regular basis without thinking about it. And the way that I propose that is by coming up with a pain you heal or a problem you solve and who you do it for. An example, if I was to do mine for you today, I help businesses, both veteran and non-veteran, build through proper networking. You often hear them say things like, I'm exhausted by the number of meetings I go to and I'm not getting any referrals. Can anybody in this room see or hear that person today? They need referred to me. If you can come up with something like that, that is so crystal clear that people can see it without thinking about it, that's the key to your success. And that's step one. So at this point, we can go into the first breakout room, and what everybody needs to do in the breakout room and then come out with it is your 15-second mic drop. What pain do you heal? What problem do you solve? And who do you solve it for?
Perfect. I've got the rooms broke up. We're going to go probably for about 7 minutes, guys, maybe 8 minutes or so. Take some time, introduce yourselves. Again, what pain do you heal? Who are you serving? And what was the other one?
It's just what pain do you heal or what problem do you solve, and who specifically do you do it for?
Who are you serving it for? Perfect. And Shane, you're on there, but you have. We almost have jumped out early.
We're back.
There we go. It's all you, Shane.
All right. So we had an absolutely amazing room. But Rodney, what I'll let you do is figure out the time, right? Before we go on to the next step. Does anybody want to share their 15-second mic drop?
Go for it, Rodney.
No.
Well, I'll share mine since Shane coached me through it, right? So mic drop is, do you know anybody that said I'm going to end up working till I die? I help them retire the way they want to, when they want to.
So what I do as part of this exercise, then, if I'm his coach, right? So I'm actually giving you guys one of the lessons in my coaching program for free today, right? So I would say back to him, then, is it safe to say a good referral for you is that friend or family member that's in business that I've heard complaining about not being able to retire when they want?
Perfect. Absolutely.
See, if you can do that back to the person that gave you their pitch, you know it's dead on. And if they say, yes, you got it, that lets them know it's dead on too. Great job, Tim.
Anybody else?
I'd love to hear Shannon. Because I heard her speak recently and she was great.
Go.
Your mic dropped, Shannon. Literally, her mic dropped.
There's a microphone around here somewhere.
Technology is great.
No, you know how when Zoom's in full screen mode and you have two screens sometimes and one of the screens will disappear? The one that disappeared was the one with the unmute button. So you'd never know I owned a technology company. So hi everybody. Yeah, it was great to be with you last week, and again to be back here this week. I'm Shannon Daniels. I'm a public speaking, communication, and confidence coach, and what that really means is I help people, business owners and professionals, to find their authentic voice, which many people struggle with, and really hone in on their message so that they can deliver it with confidence, whether it's in the boardroom or on the stage.
Shannon, I like the second sentence.
So
Best.
Rodney, was that a general introduction, or was that part of the exercise?
I think that's her mic drop, man.
Okay.
So let me ask you, Shannon.
So
I wouldn't call that a mic drop.
So do you mind a
That's
little
just-
coaching?
Yeah, and that's a more general introduction, not a mic drop, but I'd love your
There you go.
feedback. Absolutely.
Okay. So what we're doing in the exercise is the 15-second mic drop, where the dumbest rock in the room that has no clue what you do can see or hear. So a pain that you heal or a problem that you solve and who you solve it for. And the more specific it can be, the better. right? If it can trigger oh my gosh, I know that person. Oh, I see that person in my head already. Oh, I sat next to that person at dinner last night because they said this, and now they got to go talk to Shannon. Does that make sense? So like the example that I gave is I help veteran and non-veteran businesses network more effectively. The ones that I need to talk to are the ones that go, I'm so exhausted because I went to 15 meetings last week and I haven't gotten any referrals. Yeah, they need to talk to me.
Yeah. So if I'm doing that, then I would ask, how many of you in here are afraid of public speaking?
Yes.
Yes. 73% of the world's population has fear and anxiety around public speaking. I help you overcome that fear and anxiety, or I help business owners and professionals to overcome that fear and anxiety so that they can really find their authentic voice, hone their message, and deliver it with confidence.
So would
Shannon,
it be
Shannon,
safe
do you
to
help people
say,
that talk too much?
I do
would
that
it,
too.
would it be safe to say a good referral for you is that friend or family member that I was sitting with dinner last night? They have a presentation tomorrow morning and they told me how petrified they were to get up in front of people.
Yes, but if they have a presentation tomorrow, it's going to be too late. There are some things we can do, but you're not gonna kick it in 24 hours.
But you understand what I'm saying there, right?
Yes.
That's
Yep.
the voice that everybody in here should be listening for to send them to Shannon. If you know you have friends that are getting their presentations ready and they're always talking about how scared to death they are and they don't want to get up in front of people and, oh, I can't talk. You got them. Hook them up with Shannon. All right, cool. Now I'm going to go to the next screen share. And we're going to level up. All right. Is the screen back up?
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's the next most important part of the lesson. What you're going to do in your breakout rooms now is you're going to identify 4 other businesses. Now, hear me. That you would refer your customer to. Not who you get referrals from, but who are you going to help with your ideal customer? In other words, they're your upsell, right? So for instance, I'm coaching a business, veteran or not, right? To network properly. They're looking to grow their business. Well, when I'm helping them grow their business, I refer them to a financial advisor to go over their business plan, to go over their business financing, to go over a business continuity plan. I refer them to someone in accounting. Because I deal with a lot of startups, I like bookkeepers because they keep them straight from the beginning. Commercial insurance knows businesses that are trying to grow, and legal services. Here's how this works. Now, when I go to a networking event, I don't go in randomly looking to hope to stumble into people that I can help or that can help me. I will go in and I will say, who's the number one financial advisor? I'll go to the host of the meeting and say, who's the number one financial advisor in the room? I need a personal introduction. Hey, who's the best bookkeeper in the room? I need a personal introduction. Who is the best commercial insurance in the room? Who's the best legal services in the room? And then when I walk up to them, I generally, when they ask what I do, I say something like, I help your customers afford your services. And then we start talking about how we connect everybody. So now what y'all need to do is go into your breakout rooms. Think about the ideal customer with your mic drop that you just developed. Think of another pain or another problem that they need healed or solved, and who you refer them to get that pain or that problem taken care of.
Awesome. I've got 10:30 guys. We're going to go for about 10 to 12 minutes on this one. Let me take this timer off of here so it goes away, because this is going to take a little bit longer of a time, I think. We'll go to about 10:42. See you guys back here shortly.
How do I get out of here?
Hold on. I got you.
He's working the rooms.
I got you.
Well, we're on time.
Thursday's a good night. Yeah. Well, they had a minute left, I think, when I closed them out. Thursday,
So Jeff, for us, we're the product that we're providing. And I guess things like other networking groups is what we can refer people to. But we really are looking for referrals.
I think so for the most part. I refer people to all these Ohio-based networking events. I've sent out this link and some other links. Cleveland area networking, and then there's a Monday night events that alternate that I've sent to a handful of people. So Rodney, I'm beefing up your network, beefing up
and
your
I think
crew.
those are all seeds that are getting planted, right? That may not give you fruit today, right? But I think over time, when someone sees the value in what you've offered them, right, they come here and they go, "Oh man, this is crazy, dude! Like what?" I think eventually they're going to feel compelled. They're like, "Man, I got to come back to Jeff." So there was a little confusion, Shane. I just wanted to kind of like throw that out there, right? As far as where all this was going, especially because we do have folks that are in transition. They're not necessarily in business, right? So hopefully,
So I was able to coach the gentleman that was in my room in transition. I don't see him, but he can share what we talked about.
Pete was with you, wasn't he? Yeah, I think Pete was with you. Pete, I don't know where he went to.
So what he talked about was he's transitioned and he has a certain skill set. And the skill set that he's presenting presents well to, I believe he said, a high level CPA because of what he wants to help with, right? There were several finance types, like high level, big money, enterprise level financing people, right? All of them have connections to the job that he's looking and for the skill that he wants to provide. So hang with the people that hang with the people you want to work with, right? And so what I told him was when he's going to networking groups, start targeting groups, not where his customers are, but where the headhunters are, where those high-level CPAs hang out with a bunch of high-level CPAs, hang out with a bunch of people that help find that money. Those are the kinds of people he needs to connect with, right? But I'll go ahead and show you the next slide to show you how this kind of works.
So on that same note, before you keep going on, and I'll have to look up the author. I know I've mentioned this before, right? There's a book called The Proximity Principle. And it's exactly what you just said, right? Get yourself around people that are doing those things so that you can be infiltrated to that entire environment and organization, right? So good deal. Go ahead, keep going.
So what I'm showing you now, you know how Rodney earlier said I've launched 30 networking groups? This is how I build networking groups. My average networking group is 40 to 60 members, and we grow in stages. So let's say that we got together today and you said you were a residential realtor. Well, residential realtors often refer people to residential mortgage. They refer to title. They refer to a home inspector. They refer to a property manager. So do you see how that residential realtor has those 4 other businesses that they need to connect with? Okay, let's say you're construction. I usually bring roofing, HVAC, plumber, flooring. Oops, there's a typo there. But HVAC, so I like the Holy Trinity, which is usually HVAC, a plumber, and roofing. And if you can put those people in a room together, you're good, right? Trades. Then financial services, financial advisors team well with life insurance, auto and home, health insurance. If you're in business services, I like to team legal services with credit card processing, tax services, IT services, telecom, right? And then marketing and events, digital marketing, graphic designers, promotional products, photographers, event planners. And then my final section there is health and wellness, beauty, cosmetics, jewelry, hairdresser. I like to put together what I affectionately call my adult lunchable crew, right? They put those boards together and then they bring the wine in, and by the end, they've all bought everything from everybody else in the room, right? That is a tremendous team. And I'll tell you what, they are the most connected teams. They know people that know people that know people, right? So if you intentionally put your network together with the businesses that you refer your customers to, and then you create a team of, this goes into basically 6 lines of business. But if you've got an entire team that handles every pain and problem for real estate, for construction, for financial services, for B2B services, for marketing and events, and for health and wellness, you can't be stopped. You are literally the one-stop shop for anything anybody ever needs. And I guarantee you, when you're that one-stop shop, when they come to you to say, hey, who do I go to for roofing? Hey, who do I go to for financial services? And you're that go-to person, they definitely come to you for everything that you do. And that is intentional networking.
Any questions, guys? Yeah. I wanted to screenshot this.
I have a story about a third type of thing that I found at networking events that you didn't really mention, but you might want to add. There is some serendipity that occurs when you encounter people that do things you don't know about. So I was at a networking event years ago and I met a person that was a private adjuster. Does anybody know what a private adjuster does other than Mary Beth and Lamar, who I told what a private adjuster does? So I know what an insurance adjuster does. And he says, well, we do that, but we do that for you, not for the insurance company. And I said, that's really interesting. I'd love to do a one-to-one and learn more about what you do. So I did a one-to-one. Now I know this guy that solves a problem for people that I assume I'm going to encounter someday, but they're not the people I normally encounter. And in our one-to-one, I asked, so how did you get into this? Who your ideal clients are, things like that. He says, well, I used to own this company called VoiceTel Enterprises. I said, stop right there. VoiceTel, I know VoiceTel. My first job out of college was with VoiceTel. I said, Mickey Garson hired me. He says, I hired Mickey Garson. And then I got the entire history of the company that I used to work for, from when they started to when they went out of business, and all because I had a serendipitous connection with a person I met at a networking event. Anytime somebody says they make an insurance claim now, I got a guy that I can say, do you know what a private adjuster does? They'll probably just get you more money and it won't cost you anything because the insurance company's trying to save their money. They'll come in and say they missed that, that you're going to get a check for that. And this other thing is going to get you a new roof because they missed this one little thing in their analysis.
So Jeff, in the last team that I just recently put together, we have that personal adjuster.
Mm-hmm.
And she's part of the group that's got the roofer. And so they tag team all the time because anytime somebody gets their roof slammed,
they'll get them more money and get it paid faster and all. Yeah.
He goes out and looks at it and gives real numbers and then can provide those numbers to the other professionals in the group to go after the insurance companies.
My point was meeting the insurance adjuster for me wasn't one of those two types of connections to look for they don't necessarily have my ideal clients, and they aren't a business that I would obviously be able to refer people to. But because I was open to networking with everybody in the room and I found somebody that did something I didn't even know about, it was the serendipity of it, not the intentionality of it, is my point. Turns out I worked for his company.
And Jeff is in IT too.
That just means I don't know SH IT. But I love what you've just shared with us, Shane. This is. Have you ever met Maria Giancola? She does a really nice intentional networking presentation as well.
I have not.
All right, and that was actually at one of her events that I met this other person. So, but this is always your words were my words, just spoken a different way. I was really like everybody should like hearing their own words coming back at them from somebody else. I love telling people, who do you solve problems for? What problems do you solve? What pain are you helping them with? It's so important to get that clearly stated. And if you're not clear, you confuse people and they just turn off.
Well, so what I told my room was, I'll be honest. When I first started, I was starving and I was just going from networking meeting to network meeting trying to sell, right? Because I didn't know any better. I was what I now call a networking ninja, right? These are the people that they pop into the meeting and they've got 50 business cards and
yeah,
they distribute those 50 cards as fast as they can. Those are their throwing stars, right? At best, you're going to get a paper cut from one of those cards as they fly across the room. Okay. Then what do they do during the meeting? They hide down. And then as soon as it's their time, they pop up out of nowhere. They say what they want to get, and then they sit down. And then as soon as the networking meeting is over, they pop smoke and they are gone, right? Because they're on their way to assault the next networking group that they're going to, right?
Assault. That's great.
Oh my Lord, right? But when you go in intentionally and you have a narrative on how you help the people that you're talking to, and you're not always trying to sell them, your business will take care of itself. I guarantee it.
Lamar's got his hand up.
I put my hand up because there's one that's even a worse case. I went to a meeting that started off with a get together for an hour, and then there was a presentation. And the guy that was doing what you said, Shane, he was going around collecting cards. And then when we went in to sit down, he sat on the end so that everybody that went past him to sit down, he took their card. And then when the presentation started, he left the room and sent LinkedIn invites to everybody he'd connected a card with. And he didn't hear the presentation. He was off, like you said, off to the next meeting. Guess what? I did not accept his invite.
I actually had to. So I ran a fairly high level networking organization at one point in my life. And I literally had to choke slam this one guy that came to one of the meetings and got everybody's information. And his product was this auto texter thingy. And without getting anybody's permission, he went in, he took the member roster from the chapter and added everybody to his auto text thing and just started blasting everybody at that meeting with texts. It was horrible.
That's right, Jeff. Connect, don't collect. I like that.
Yeah, and networking has got like this dirty word these days, I feel like, because I know people that literally travel around and train exactly all these no-nos, I'll call them, that we're talking about. Like, it's about prospecting and getting as many cards and meetings as possible before you leave the room, and you better set up this many coffees and this many calls. And it's like, that's not networking. That is prospecting at that point in time. And just be human, connect with people on a human level, and the rest will fall into place.
Well, so one of the things that I coach on is the difference between networking and building a network, right? So if not to be confusing or anything, but networking is, yeah, it's that random, hey, let's run around and let's just throw cards and working, right? But it doesn't work, right? A network is when you've taken the time to invest, you've built a relationship, you know and trust each other, and you can make it happen. And that is when you're successful, when you have a network, not when you spend too much time networking. Otherwise, you're just getting fat because you're going from breakfast to dinner and drinking a lot. Just saying. COVID kind of actually helped me out with that, though. I didn't have to go to as many in-person things. I actually lost a lot of weight during COVID.
And drank a lot of coffee that was cheaper.
I found some of that weight.
I got COVID-19 right here.
I referred it to you, brother. I'm glad you were able to accept.
That's because I was an older classmate, okay? We went to the same school.
Awesome. Hey, give it up for Shane, everybody. Great conversations today. Appreciate all the engagement and stuff. And yeah, I think that, that concept of finding those 4 businesses, man, or 4 top referral sources and resources for yourself, I think is huge.
There's upcoming.
Perfect. So Shane was with us today, finding your best self. It was really finding your best referral self, right? Next week, we're going to come back to that change management and healthy conflict that we were supposed to talk about last week. And then I threw Shannon in there instead, because that was much better anyway. The 28th, that was originally Sanford's dance party. And I think it's still going to be Sanford's dance party of some sort, right? But we're going to talk about resilience and how you can continue to dance, right? Whether it be with your business, in life in general, or just out on the dance floor. And then on the 4th of June, I got to move my toolbar here. On the 4th of June, Wesley Ramey is going to come talk to us. I was actually introduced to Wesley about a month ago. And he amazed me with some very basic things, right? And we talked about cybersecurity before, but he was like, do you realize like the locks to your file cabinets that you buy from the store, right? A lot of times there's only about 10 different keys for file cabinets, right? Unless you get it customized and have a personalized lock on there, there's only about 10 different keys that can open file cabinets. And I was like, what the heck? Sure enough, I come home, right? I've got a key to my lockbox, which was a pretty generic lockbox, and this new file cabinet that I just bought, and the same daggum key opens both of them. I've had the lockbox for 30 years, guys.
Wow.
And so he's going to talk to us about some physical security as well as some cybersecurity, as far as, some things that we can start looking at to do to make sure that we're in the best position possible to protect our own stuff. On the 11th of June, introduced from Shannon, right? Help me pronounce her last name, Shannon, can you?
D'Agostino.
D'Agostino, Kathy D'Agostino. We had a great conversation the other day. She was amazed that I was actually able to do some prompt engineering basics with you guys. And so she was going to go back and watch what Ray had taught us, as well what I had taught us with prompt engineering, and really expand upon that from an AI perspective on how we can better use AI in our businesses, in our searches, and all of the things that we're doing, right? And so looking forward to all of those conversations. Hopefully you guys had a good conversation today with the folks that you were in the room with. If not, and you didn't have enough time because the 8 or 10 minutes wasn't there, connect with them on LinkedIn, right? That's what it's there for. Reach out. Do not be the spammer of text or whatever, what we just talked about, right? Reach out there, send a personalized message, right? And create some one-on-one times beyond Coffee Connect. Go out there, have a great week, everybody. I love you guys. Be safe. Be safe.
Thanks, everyone.
See y'all. Have a great week.
Thank you all so much.
Have a good week.
Until next
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. Have a great week.